Frank Gruber has lived 29 years in Santa Monica and is a former planning commissioner.
Hi, and thank you for joining us on Vote 2012. Frank, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
Well, Santa Monica's doing pretty well surviving the current loss of funds due to the recession, certainly much better than a lot of other cities, but there still must be cuts in funding. How would you set your priorities in dealing with this?
Well, I think we have to first focus on the core services of any city. I think one of the things that Santa Monica has got off on is that we sometimes have enterprises that seem good, like for a long time we ran this civic auditorium for many years at a loss, and one of the things that I objected to in the last few years was that with the redevelopment money, the city was going to put $50 million into that, and it would continue to run as a loss. I don't think that running a convention center of that sort is part of the core mission of a city, which has to do with all the public safety, the important social services, libraries, and of course our contributions to the school system. Santa Monica voters have made it clear over the years that one of their priorities is the school system, way up there with anything else. And since the school district has severe limitations on how it can raise money, the city has come to be a big contributor to it, and I think we should continue that.
What about raising revenues? Where would you do that?
Well, I think that we have to realize that as strong as the economy is in Santa Monica, it can't be taken for granted. What I think we have to be careful about is approving office development. Some people like office development because it does help the city with taxes and doesn't need so much services. I think we need residential development, not office development. But where we can have commercial development is like in our hospitality industry, hotels, retail that's appropriate. Those functions, spin off a lot of sales tax revenue. Very good for the city and also good for the schools with our new Measure Y and YY.
So interesting that you mentioned office buildings, because that's my next question. Compared to residential and retail development, office buildings generate the least amount of money for the city while producing the most traffic. Do you think this growth should be limited?
Yes, but I think something's wrong with the premise there. Office development does generate a lot of income for the city, but it certainly generates the most traffic. Particularly in the I think our worst traffic problem is the morning commute coming in and the afternoon commute going out, which locks us all here in Santa Monica. In my column that I've been writing for years, when the loose process first started, I pointed out that we overbuilt office development under the 1984 plan, and we really had to cut it back. Residential development does not contribute to our worst traffic problems. It actually helps solve them. And so I think we should move that square footage in the loose into residential rather than office.
I must ask you to define loose.
Oh, I'm sorry. Loose is the land use and circulation elements, LUCE, updates to Santa Monica's general plan. And that was a process that started in 2004 and continued until 2010.
I had another traffic question, but I want to skip. What do you think, if you were elected, if you are to be elected, what would be the most important thing you would like to accomplish in the next 4 years?
Well, I lump all these things in a collective concept I call a healthy city, that we need to do, because I think everything's interrelated. I don't want to just say one most important thing. To create a healthy city, you want a city where the people will flourish, where you have a more convenient life, where things that you need are a short walk, a bus trip, a bike ride, or a short car trip away. Santa Monica has a lot of that, and we can build upon that. A healthy city also means a city government that's healthy, that is well run and has sufficient revenues to do the job. So I would look at everything, any particular decision that came up. Does this decision make the city healthier?
What about Measure ES, the school district's facilities bond?
I'm strongly in favor of that. I know that there's a certain amount of bond fatigue out there, where people look at their tax statement and see all these different fees. But the fact is that the school district, for 20 years now, starting with the original ES in the early 90s, has been running a very effective program of incremental bonds every 6 or 8 years to keep a process going to keep our schools in good shape. This bond will focus a lot of it on Santa Monica High School, which really is in bad shape in many respects, but also is a plus for the city, because part of that will be to create new recreation fields at the high school, which then can be used by the residents as a new park. And since the city has lost its redevelopment money and can't do that kind of thing easily itself, I think this is a good deal for the city.
Thank you very much, Frank.
Okay, well, thank you.